Okay, shalom again, Israel. Okay, I want to finish where I left off at, which was Second Corinthians, the fourth chapter, and I'm going to be reading verses 3 to 6. Okay, as it has here. Okay, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them which are lost. Those that are lost are in a stage of darkness. It's chaos. It's disarray. All right, I just want to make sure that's clear. In whom the God of this world hath blinded. So there is a particular people, okay, that has blinded the minds of our people. We know about the scribes and the Pharisees, but it's also talking about our slave masters at this present day and time. They have blinded the minds of our people, and what we're supposed to do now as ministers of the Messiah is to show forth this light in the world, to bring the people out of darkness and to come into the light. Now, this is all, okay, referencing the darkness of the moon. The darkness of the moon, again, is a state of chaos, a state of disarray. And what we have to do now as ministers is to show forth the light. The moon, again, in that state, is in a state of disarray, is chaos. What happens, what brings understanding, is the light. And we're supposed to observe, okay, the light. That is the phase of the moon once it comes out of darkness, which is the first sliver or the first waxen crescent. Again, let me go ahead and finish this. It says, lest the light of the glorious gospel of the Messiah, who is the image, okay, excuse me, let me read back verse 4 again. And on whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not the light. They don't believe the light. Least the light is the Messiah. The life is the light, and the light is the Messiah. I'm going to say it again. The light is the Messiah. The life is the Messiah. I just want to make sure that's clearly understood. Least the life of the glorious gospel of the Messiah, who is the image, and that's who the Messiah is. The Messiah is the self-revelation of the Father in the world. What is the Torah? This is always my definition that I started from day one. The Torah is the self-revelation of the Most High in the world. So what happened now is that the Messiah is the embodiment of the Father. So the Messiah is also the self-revelation of the Father in the world. The Messiah is the light. That's going to be the whole key thing here. The Messiah is the light. Observe the light. As it tells us in Deuteronomy 16:1, I just want to read that right quick, because that was brought to my attention. Deuteronomy 16:1. Let's bring out the full understanding of this. It says, observe the moon of Abib. If somebody's asking you to observe something, they're asking you to acknowledge it. And the only way that you can acknowledge it, if you understand the signs and the seasons. That's the only way you can do it. So observation, okay, observe the light. This lets us know when the beginning process happens for us to start the count. And we observe it not in this chaotic state or in this state of disarray. You observe it at the light. And who is the light? The Messiah is the light. I'm going back because I'm trying to speed this thing up here a little bit. And what I'm going to do now in a later series now is I'm going to go up in a little bit more depth about, again, what I'm talking about here, about the Messiah being the light and how this whole thing is going on with the Passover and understanding the feast days. Brothers and sisters, the key to all of this is understanding the feast days and understanding what does the word foreshadowing means. If we can get that under our belts, everything else becomes very, very easy. Back to 2 Corinthians, okay, the fourth chapter, the fourth verse. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. And those that don't believe are what? They are in a state of darkness. Least the light, which is the Messiah, of the glorious, least the light of the glorious gospel of the Messiah, who is, the Messiah is now the image of the Father, should shine unto them. Verse 5. For we preach not ourselves, but this is not about any one man. This is about going out, all right, blowing the shofar and preaching this ministry. This is what this whole thing is about. For we preach not ourselves, but the Messiah, and ourselves your servants for the Messiah's sake. Verse 6. For the Most High, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, have shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Father in the face of the Messiah. Now, what I found very interesting with 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, especially verse 6. The question is, Shaul here, because again, I like to keep everything in its Hebraic perspective. Where is Shaul getting this information from? Where it says in verse 6, for the Most High who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, where is Paul quoting this scripture from? He's quoting it from Genesis, the book of Bara Ashiyath, or the book of Genesis, the 2nd verse, 1 and 2. And the earth was without form. During the time of the Messiah's ministry, the earth was without form and it was darkness. Complete darkness. Because collectively our people was not following Torah. If you're not following Torah, you are in a state of darkness. Okay, that's another level of understanding what's going on here in Genesis. Like I said earlier, of course we can go through the literal meaning of it. I don't have a problem with that. But Paul here, Shaul, okay, is talking about verse 2 in reference to the nation of Israel. Check this out. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. I'm going to stop right there. Then I'm going to go back now to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. For the Most High who commanded the light is the Messiah. Okay, he commanded the light to shine out of darkness. Out of all of the confusion that's going on, the Most High had the light, which is the Messiah, to shine out of the darkness. And again, what is darkness? Darkness is chaos. We look at the first sliver of the moon. Out of that dark stage of the moon is going to come what? It's going to come light. It's the light that we're observing. It's the light that we're watching for. That's how you start to count. For the Most High who commanded the light to shine out of darkness have shined in our hearts. That's what this whole thing about is now coming out of that stage of darkness, having the Messiah now to shine in our hearts. This is your hearts here, okay? Your conscience plus yourself, plus your the self-consciousness. All of this now is supposed to work and mirror one another. So as a man thinketh, so is he. So if I'm talking these scriptures, all right, my walk shall also demonstrate that I'm not walking in darkness, that I'm walking in light. Very easy. For the Most High who commanded the light to shine out of darkness have shined in our hearts to give light. The Messiah is the light. To give light of the knowledge of the glory of the Father. And who's the glory of the Father? The glory of the Father is the Messiah. And we are supposed to be the Messiah's glory. Coming out of that stage of darkness. Again, I'm going to be repetitive with this thing. All right? The darkness signifies chaos. There's a process that's going on in the darkness. And what's going to shine out of the darkness is the light. To give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Father. The glory of the Father is the Messiah. It told us that in 1 Corinthians 11th chapter. All right? We have the Most High. We have the Messiah. And we have the man. That's the order. That's self-explanatory there. In the face of the Messiah. Brothers and sisters, what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to cut it from here. If any brothers have any questions about anything that I said, please leave a comment. And with that, I say shalom, brothers and sisters.